Hello all and welcome to your Thursday night beer review. Yeah, so hit up Bottle Heads. In previous videos I called it Bottle Works. My father corrected me. It's called Bottle Heads. And I picked up a couple of bottles of beer to review. Since they seem to carry quite a few things that I've never seen anywhere else in Hawaii, I'm probably going to be visiting them quite a bit. Issue being, of course, that many of the things they carry, like every other bottle shop, are IPAs. And I'm hesitant to review IPAs. Why? Because they trigger my allergies and I get just like a really bad headache the next day. I can still taste them and I still enjoy the taste of them until like you know, the histamine reaction kicks in and my face turns red and my nose runs and my nose and eyes run, endlessly. But yeah, I'm really hoping that this doesn't start happening with all beers. That would be a real tragedy. But the good thing is they carry quite a few other beers, especially, Belgian sours and whatnot. So I think I got quite a few things to review in the future, so long as money holds out. Inflation, the incredible shrinking dollar, as it were. But this is basically my only hobby that costs money. I mean, playing old video games doesn't cost money. Old video and computer games doesn't really cost money. And of course, reading books doesn't cost money when you already have like a huge collection of books and easy access to a library like I do. So, um, drinking beer and reviewing it is pretty much my only hobby that costs money. So it's something I'm willing to spend money on. So anyways, what are we reviewing? We are reviewing Ayinger's Maibock. Since I've enjoyed other beers from this German brewer in Bavaria, I figured I'd go and hit up their Maibock. Never had it before, so I'm kind of curious. Obviously, I didn't go and do a pre-taste. I just have this single bottle right here. And on Untapped, they go and have it separated by year. I'm not really sure if that means that they go and tweak the recipe every year. I highly doubt that. That doesn't seem very much like something a German brewery would do, constantly tweaking recipes. German breweries are like, we've created this recipe. That's not a Bavarian accent. That's not even a Prussian accent. I shouldn't even try a German accent. It's not one that I can do without like practicing multiple times beforehand. It's not something I can go and improvise. But anyways, they don't seem to be the kind of country that goes and tweaks their recipes often, especially, renowned classical styles like this. Maibock being kind of a heavier lager, not as heavy or as dark as a Doppelbock, but still pretty heavy. And this is matched at 7.0 ABV. Now, this is not a style that I have a lot of experience in because people generally don't make German beer styles much anymore. I got into craft beer just as those were becoming kind of passe. I remember like bringing a Gordon Biersch box set to like a graduate department party, and people being like, "Why'd you bring this?" And it's like, "Well, it's good beer." And it's like, it become kind of passe, and that's kind of sad because Gordon Biersch made great lagers. There's no two ways around it. They made great lagers, so great German style lagers. So I'm kind of sad that I think they're still around, but they're having a lot of business issues, so you don't see their stuff anymore, and they've had to go and do IPAs just like everybody else. IPAs are becoming the adjunct lagers of our era, the craft beer era. And even if I wasn't getting an allergy to them, I would still feel that way. Anyways, I've been yammering on long enough. So I'm almost at the 5-minute mark and I haven't even cracked open this beer. So let's just get straight to this now, shall we? 7.0 ABV. One of my friends who also does another review channel, he always knocks these out in like 5 minutes. I have no idea how he does it. And he does a good job of it too. But yeah, I am the long-winded beer reviewer who overshares his personal life. Okay. So, kind of got a nice orange yellow, very well carbonated, slightly hazy, with Couple fingers, about a finger and a half worth of thick, fluffy, off-white head. Mmm, bread with honey. So kind of malt forward. Bread with honey, like got some floral hopping that I'm catching here. Slight grassiness to it, not too much spice. Cereal notes, grain notes. But yeah, primary smell in the nose is sort of bread with honey. Oh, darn. Got a gnat in my beer. Let's go and remove that. A gnat from the room, not from in the bottle or anything. Yeah, pretty pleasant smelling. Smells somewhat on the rich side, as it should. Okay, let's go on to the palate now. Hmm. So, lots of bready malts up front that's balanced by hop bitterness. Hops don't really have a dimension, they're just kind of balancing, they're just providing a balancing bitterness, not really any strong flavor notes there. Some subtle juicy notes in the front to mids, very subtle, like apple or pear juice, very subtle, kind of underneath that bread. Very much like fresh cut wheat bread with fresh cut honey wheat bread in the top note there. Very strong. Mouthfeel is fairly thick, but not oily. Yeah, the hopping is pretty stiff on this but it's well balanced because you can taste all those residual sugars. Finish is more or less clean. There's residual hop bitterness on the palate. This is pretty well hopped by German standards. But I think it's really necessary. Otherwise, it would be on the cloying side. There's an ever so slight boozy note in the top note, but you really have to concentrate to catch it. All in all, not deeply complex, but satisfying. So while it's pretty decent Maibock, um, of the German lager styles, the traditional styles, this is not one of my preferred ones. I've always preferred either like just you know good German Pilsner because it's so crisp and refreshing. But if I want something heavier, I would go for the Doppelbock just because I prefer the flavor notes there. They just seem to have a lot more complexity in Doppelbocks just from the way it's made, the malting there, the darker malting. My box always hit me as something very almost um, almost to the edge of decadent at times. It never really goes over that because it's not supposed to be really sweet, but you can definitely sense all those residual sugars. There's that thickness in the mouthfeel on the palate, and you know it doesn't really have like a complex top note or palate note. I mean, sometimes you just want something, liquid bread, but those times are few and far between, excuse me, for myself. That said, this is a well-made one for the style. I think pretty fresh too, considering how bitter it is. Yeah. So, Ayinger Maibock. I don't think there are any real like bad beers from this brewery. I mean, they've been making the same beers for over 100 years already, So it's not like that they don't know what they're doing. Like I said, if Maibach is your style, definitely give this one a shot. I prefer regular box and doppelbox. Haven't really had any of the other kind of Bock beers other than the big three of those style. That style category. But yeah, you know, give this a shot if this is your jam. Because I think if my box are your jam, this one will do it for you. And that, folks, is your beer review for this evening. Prost!